This is a 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 XL
Yes.
convertible. This was my grandfather's car. So we would take this out on the 4th of July. We'd take it out every time we were there during the Christmas, we'd take it out in the parades. And so this is part of my life,
Yeah.
And so when my grandfather passed, it came to me, and I've been kind of the custodian of it, I guess you'd say, right? I remember, looking at this car, driving in it when I was a kid. My mother got her driver's license in this car.
Welcome to the auditorium today. I am Verlin. We're looking at an unusual car today. This one is from outer space again. This is a Ford Galaxie 500.
I haven't done any repainting. You can see on the chrome, it's all faded, and the highlights have all kind of
This is actually
away.
stainless steel. If you want, you can polish this stuff. It'll look
yeah. There's some
spotless,
stuff
brand new
to do. I've kept it clean, but those are the original hubcaps. I mean, this detail back there, I mean, you can see how it's faded in the sun a little bit. And so there's a vision here to get this thing as sporty as possible. I've seen photos of cars like this that put on the modern sport mag wheels, and it looks pretty awesome, but I think these spoke wheels, especially with the...
No, on this kind of cars, I think what you're doing is perfect. You got a garage big enough to park this in?
It fits by a half an inch. I'm glad it fits in there, but this thing is like 18 feet long.
Look at how the wheels. There are modern cars being sold today that are shorter than that.
Yeah, the wheelbase. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know the details of the wheelbase, but I know the length is about almost 18 feet.
Oh, it's got to be a 120-inch wheelbase at least.
It's got a real sturdy stance, and it's got power steering, so that was part of the XL package.
Oh, yeah.
It does have drum brakes. I haven't changed the brakes to disc, and I think that's something I've considered.
Just
but
for
I
a
know
straight safety factor.
Right. I know that's not
front
an
wheel
easy
disc
thing.
brakes.
Yeah, because I can tell, especially if I'm hauling ass down PCH and I touch the brakes a little bit. I gotta keep in mind this thing doesn't stop on a dime.
Right.
So.
Doesn't turn in a dime either, does it?
It's surprisingly, the turning radius is sharper than you'd think, actually. But that's true. With an 18-foot car, I feel like I have to watch the back end.
You can do it. It's not a 5-point turn. You can do a 3-point turn.
I think, in most cases, thankfully, I can. But my Uncle Barry took his date to the prom, Coronado High School, in this car. So there's so much sentimental value with it. It's hard to even think about letting it go or selling it, or really proud that...
Who was Grandpa?
So he was Commander Edward Vincent Horn with an E. I know he was really passionate about the Navy. He was a commander, so he had a high rank. And
was he World War II era?
Yeah, World War II. So he was a pilot and a JAG officer, so he was a lawyer. So he had a lot of juice, so a lot of stories from my two uncles and my mother about how they were raised, and I know he was passionate about this vehicle and about the Navy and what that stood for, fighting for the country and World War II. And yeah, I wish I'd known him better, and maybe that's why having this car, obviously every time I take it out, I'm gonna think about him.
Gives you a connection.
You know what, yeah, so I think, I didn't expect to kind of go there, but yeah, it does give you that connection, and I do feel a responsibility, to take care of it, to keep it in shape and keep it running, Good news is it's not hard to work on. It's not that expensive,
Right, and simple technology.
It's a V8. Yeah, what is it? This thing is it was the second It's a 64, and they came out with this model in 63, so I think this was the 289 cubic inch, so it's just shy of 200 horsepower. So, but it was the base, and it's an automatic. It's a 2-speed automatic.
This is the 289?
I think so.
I would have guessed 396.
Yeah, but see, I was looking it up, and the bigger engines needed the manual because the automatic at that time couldn't handle that power. So that's something I know. But this thing does have some get up and go for sure. Even though it's, you know, I mean, it's a V8.
Well,
so
but a 289 is what the original Cobras had. It's not a.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah,
okay.
It's not a tiny.
What do you know? So that's the thing. It's like comparing it to. I mean, I know the Cobras are pretty darn fast.
I mean, not as heavy as this car,
Right,
but
right.
That's what they had.
Carburetor work is a big one. It runs rich. So if the carburetor's not in tune, you can really smell me come in.
All right, well, it's not a huge engine, so I bet you can get around town. Can you get 12 miles to the gallon around
I
town?
think about 8 is what I'm thinking.
Around town.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm not necessarily taking it out on the highway, so it's all this kind of stop and go.
Right. You get a little bit better on the freeway, but. So do you do anything with it? You take it to car shows?
So that's my dream. That's my vision, is one day to do that.
You're not doing it yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, why?
I have done a few.
What, you think it has to
homecoming-
be perfect?
You know, that's interesting that you say that.
Oh no.
That's on the list. It's definitely something
This
I want
car
to do.
fits into preservation class, which gets huge respect nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
good
you
hear.
need to have it, enter it to be judged.
Right.
But just take it so people can enjoy it.
Enjoy it. People love it. You know, I'll drive down to Huntington Beach. You know, chrome, the vinyl
This looks like this has
seats.
been done.
No, I don't think so. Maybe
Really?
it might have been, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I know that, you know, when it came to me, I did have to do some work on the engine to get it redone, but nothing done inside at all. This is all original carpet. You know,
You know what?
chrome
You're
needs
right.
work.
It could be because see the color of this is more like a cherry red, and this is like a Chinese orange red.
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
door panel has got that color like this. So
Yep.
it might have just been two different materials that over the years they
Yeah,
faded
the fade,
different colors.
and you can kind of see that on the door panel, the fading.
Yep.
But it's all, God, I guess my dream is to get the chrome
No.
dial.
Annually,
You know.
what is it, on Memorial Day or Labor Day on 2nd Street? There's that big show.
Yeah, right at the end of summertime. I guess that's Labor Day. They have the big thing. All right, well, let's just take a look and see what we got. So here it is, the V8.
It's a 289, you're saying?
289, right,
Yeah.
which is, what, 200 horsepower, just shy. It's
Super
the
easy.
original blue engine block color.
Yeah, Ford's blue, that's their
Yep.
traditional color.
Yeah, so that's still, you know, it's a little dirty, but you know, it runs, it works.
Then it's a driver, don't even worry about that.
Yep.
It's so easy to change these spark plugs. You know, a modern car,
Everything's
you
right-
can't
right
even
here.
see them.
It's right accessible. I've had mechanics tell me you could pull parts off of tractors to replace in here to make this thing work. It's just-
Interchangeable.
everything's transferable, this classic V8 engine. I mean, for 60 years old, it's still
Power
going.
steering.
Power steering, which I think was a new thing back then. Does have drum brakes, which makes it a little tricky to stop. I have to really keep in mind that it's
I bet it's
not
got a
going to
good
stop
horn
on a
on
dime.
it. Got a good horn
You know,
on it?
the horn, I need to replace the horn. It's fading out. Yeah, it doesn't have the same
Power. Yeah, the
power. That is something that
horn
needs
on
to be
these things would
replaced.
scare scare anybody, man.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same power anymore. Luckily, I haven't had to use it too much, But yeah, I've had to, change up some things. When I first got it, it would overheat a lot, and we took care of that with the coolant. Got the new cap.
But this is original.
Yeah, this is the original reservoir. I don't know I'm not sure what that's called. I know I'm not like a car guy.
Right. That's a
But,
relay for your
So yeah, that's
blinkers,
new.
maybe?
I know there's some oil
starters,
filters
for the
down
starter.
there. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, and it was interesting too, the battery that was in here before was too small. Obviously we got a decent battery to help fire this thing up. The carburetor, I try to keep that tuned up. That's been the biggest.
They get gummy. You know what this stuff is?
Yeah, and I need to run it too. That's the thing.
I will tell you, I'm not promoting anybody, but that Lucas fuel injection cleaner and carburetor cleaner.
Is that the spray?
Nope, it's a liquid you pour it in the gas tank. I want to bring somebody in to take a look at this car, somebody from a younger generation. This is not really your kind of car, you said, if it wasn't an emotional choice.
Yeah.
But I want to bring somebody in and get their opinion. And I know, Joshua, come on in.
Hey, how you doing, my man?
Gene, this is
nice to meet you.
Joshua.
Mr. Joshua,
Yeah.
Joshua.
All right, come on in, Gene.
Yes, sir.
All right, Joshua, take a look at the car.
Yes, sir. Oh, man.
I want to know your opinion. You can be 100% honest on this, okay?
Okay.
Would this be, you can say it, it's okay. What's your opinion? Would this be a car you would want to drive or want to own?
Honestly, yes. Just for the cause of, if it's like one of those cars, if you know, you know, you know, and you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel you.
You know, it's,
Absolutely.
It's definitely like a collectible, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure you get a lot of joy of riding it.
And that's the big
Yes,
part
sir.
of it
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
is how much fun I have with it.
And
you know,
I heard you guys pulling up. That engine sounds amazing, my man.
it runs really well. One thing I did when I was younger, I was talked into it by a mechanic. I took the diffusers off the muffler.
Gotcha,
Like,
okay.
The mechanic's like, do you want it to sound tougher, meaner? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. So he took the diffusers off.
Okay.
Originally, this thing would have sounded like a Cadillac, just smooth as silk. I took the diffusers off, so it's got that more throaty,
Yes, sir.
you know,
Okay.
tough muscle car sound.
Okay.
I go back and forth on regretting that or not, but yeah, it does sound pretty tough when it's going. Point of this car is having the muscle, the power, the V8
Oh my goodness.
combined with, at the time, a luxury interior and
Gotcha.
appointments in the car. So
Okay.
this was a first of its kind to have both. So that's what's really interesting about this vehicle, you know, having a V8, having the 200 horsepower, but then having power steering and having the radio and having the interior lights and just the, you know, the detailing with the vinyl bucket seats. You know, it was an innovative product back then.
Okay.
So that's
You
what's cool
surprised
about it.
me. I thought you were not going to like this car.
No, it's very eye-catching, you know. But it's like the only reason I said that I would like it, so like a collectible, like it's like one of those cars you could just walk in the garage and you gotta just pause for a second, and be like, you know, I got one, you know.
You know
like,
what? And you don't see many of these out there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You see a lot of
Never see convertible.
Malibus or Falcons maybe, or those Bel Airs, but you don't see these on the road very much. So that's what kind of makes it special too.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It was his grandfather's.
How long has it been in the family?
So my grandfather bought it new back in '64, and he had it until he passed, and then it came to me that way, and I've had it, gosh, maybe, I don't know, age myself, but 20 years or so now at least. And you know, it's gone through iterations where I drive it a lot, and then I won't, and then I do, but I've always kept it running, and that's the thing is, even when it's in the garage, if it's covered, I know I can start this car and it runs, and I take care of it enough to know that it's safe and that it runs really well.
All right. Well, Gene,
Yeah.
this has been fun.
It's been really fun. Thanks, you guys. I really
Thanks for
enjoyed
bringing
it.
the car in.
It's amazing what you know, talking about this has brought up, and I really appreciate you helping me appreciate the vehicle. So thank you.
No problem again.
Thank you
We'll
for
see
your
you.
time.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks you
thank you.
guys.